holding your breath that whole time?
I was so
I
scared.
was.
Since the last episode, you've been holding
Oh
your
my
breath.
god. Yeah, it's been a while.
Mhm.
Well, Jenna,
Two
tell everyone where we
2
were.
2 whole weeks. My friends, we were in the Dominican Republic on vacation.
Vacation.
So thank you for your patience in allowing us a holiday and taking a week off.
Plus like the Christmas break and everything too. We just
Christmas break was kind of a yeah, in there as well. So we've been out
phoning
and
it in
about.
for a
I
bit.
saw the photos. You guys were
Okay.
looking fantastic on the beach.
We
Oh,
tried to
thank-
take like an update photo for our Instagram posts, and it turned out not to be great.
Yeah, Cassie was like, guys, no.
But then we forgot to take a new one, so
Yeah.
now our update photo is going to be not so great.
Yeah.
I can dig it.
It's awesome.
I think we should just use it anyways, just to be like, shit happens. You know?
I think so
Not
too.
everything's perfect. Yeah.
It's the way she goes.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the way she goes, by some weird sort of circumstances, we find ourselves recording our 100th episode of We Made It.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
dedication.
And honestly, it seems like it should have happened a long time ago, but I think we started this like 5 years ago.
In the pandemic, yeah.
That's so crazy that we're
Yeah.
so bad at this. It's taken us 5 years to get to 100 episodes.
Yeah. Many
but-
breaks, many
Yeah, you know, kids, deployments, the real world,
Yeah.
it has its say. But anyway, yeah, we stuck it out. We're doing 100. And for our 100th episode, we have a special treat for everyone.
Ladies
Not
and
only are we doing a giveaway,
Yeah.
but we have our first guest back in a long time, and he is a repeat guest, but that's okay because he's going to be on. I think he needs 7 or 8 more episodes anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we're all familiar.
Do I talk that slow?
No. Yes, you do.
I'll activate
like
my
the-
inner turtle.
The
It's like the
sloths at the
sloths.
DMZ.
Yes.
Yeah. ADHD mind meld right there.
Thank you
Well,
so
ladies
much
and
for
gentlemen,
having me again.
Leroy Akiki.
Thank
and
you.
if you're interested, the correct. I'm not going to do that anymore. We're just going to carry right along. So for our 100th episode, I was sitting in the Dominican on the toilet reading a book, and as you do,
As you
And
do.
It's imagery. Wow.
And thinking
thank
about
you.
me, of course.
well, and I was thinking about Leroy because I was reading one of Leroy's books. And
Aha.
it occurred to me that we hadn't decided what our giveaway was going to be for 100, and I was like, you know what, we gotta start propping up our own. And I was holding one of our own in my hands while I was busy
Contemplating life. Business meeting.
contemplating life.
Business meeting.
And so our giveaway for 100 is going to be one of Leroy's books. Might throw in another book or two based off some of our previous episodes and conversations. But I'm really excited to put some of Leroy's work into other people's hands. Hopefully they'll enjoy it more than just.
I was gonna say possibly also on the toilet.
Yeah.
You know?
And
Ideally.
I'll
knows?
be clear here. It's not like an Uncle John's toilet reader. These are good. They're good books. And
I forgot the existence of Uncle John's toilet reader. Oh my god.
I only know Archie comics. For me, it was all about Archie comics in the
There you
bathroom.
go.
Yeah,
Okay.
Double digest. Mhm.
Yeah, that's right.
Double
Exactly.
digest,
That'll get you
yeah.
through
Of
the
course,
weekend.
when I was a child, I thought it was pronounced diggest because I was illiterate-ish.
Man, there are so many words that I mispronounce because I only ever read them.
Yeah.
And there is a large percentage of those words where I found out how to pronounce them the hard way because I said them out loud and people made fun of me.
That's shame
corrected you.
is important. We need to bring back shame as a more routine method of correction because I tell you what, when
It's
I feel
effective.
shame, I sort myself out in a real hurry.
That's a really interesting point because I know we've talked about shame a few times on the episode,
Yes.
but I get the impression that you're not talking like judgmental shame. You're just talking like you need to be corrected, and I'm going to
Yeah.
do it in the quickest way possible, which might hurt your feelings.
Yeah, in the most direct way, whether it's in personal life or professional life. Let's be real. we need that. I think, and when I say bring back shame or make shame more prevalent, we've gotten to a weird place where anything goes. Anything you feel and want to say is okay, but the reality is that's not true, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason we have laws, because we have decided these bunch of things, if you do, we're going to shame you / put you in a box.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
Yeah.
many things, in the social world that we also need to remind folks that, you know what, freedom of speech is cool, but you're still being a dick right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there's a
Yeah.
bit of the thing that goes along with that too is that I think people expect to not get their feelings hurt,
Oh, big time.
and
Big time.
I think there's no place for that, to be honest. Your
Yeah.
feelings are your problem. I mean, we should make an effort to make people feel welcome. Like,
Yeah.
let's say it's a work environment or whatever, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like,
But feeling
I
welcome is different. It's very different than correcting someone, right? Like,
Yes.
for example, at
Yeah.
our work, right, in our regiment, the Royal Canadian Dragoons, I've always felt welcome there, almost. But I felt shame in multiple instances where I was either publicly or privately corrected. And it wasn't a malicious attack on Leroy. It was, Lieutenant Akiki, Captain Akiki, this is the mistake you made. You need to sort yourself out
Mhm.
and carry on with your life. And, regardless who was giving the lesson, I had to learn it, whether they
Mhm.
were gentle about it or not. Like, I don't know.
Delivery,
Like you said, feelings
delivery
are,
is going to be individual. You
yeah,
can't
and you can't take it
control
personally.
somebody's
Every time
delivery.
someone
Yeah.
corrects you, like, you can't live your life that way. We need to
Mm.
cut that out. It can't be the
Mhm.
norm anymore. And I really hope that starts changing in elementary schools, where a teacher can be like, Leroy, you're talking too much in class. Go to the principal's office, which
Mhm.
was my whole elementary school experience, basically.
Oh man, yeah,
You've heard
I
this
got that
quote
treatment.
before.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, gosh, we could get into a whole conversation about the way they're doing stuff in elementary schools, but
Mm-mm.
You
No,
know,
it's
my
gonna be a fun
honestly,
episode.
my only real beef with the way they do school now is that they
Yes.
allow teachers to it allows student parents to email teachers. Whoever thought that was a good idea needs to be shot, because I feel bad for teachers. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
You have 20, 30 kids in your class. Even if you get one email from each parent per month, like, that's 20 or 30 extra emails on top of all the crap to deal with.
Yes.
Right. And people are much bolder and braver over email and text, right? It's easy to be mouthy towards the teacher over email than during a parent teacher conference, when,
Yes.
let's be real, most people just don't have the cojones to say what they're actually thinking. So
That's
if
true.
I could change anything about our school system right now, it would be teachers and parents can't email each other. You have to have
Yeah.
a phone call and in-person conversation if there's a problem, or if it's just a good thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a really interesting point. I feel like when you said that, my first thought was how most organizations operate, where email has corrupted our ability to streamline problem solving.
Yeah. Oh,
All
yeah.
we do is all we do is email people with questions and concerns, and never the solution. And I just feel
Yeah.
like you're just piling onto their day and their stress levels. And
Yeah.
it's
But and in many situations, it's liability. So
Oh.
in the law world, they don't want to have phone conversations because you can't prove what
No
was
paper
said.
trail.
Whereas everything's exactly, Jenna, over email, you
Mhm.
have what I said and what the lawyer has said. It's all
Wrong.
written down.
Wrong.
Exactly.
Pretty sure Snowden proved that there is a record. We just might not have access to it.
Yeah, I mean,
That's fair.
ideally,
Yeah.
Meta is recording all of our phone conversations. So, like, even without email, we still have the proof.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
wild. That's an interesting point, though. Liability. That's fun. In case, like, but then
Liability is the thing.
that brings us to another problem, which is this he said, she said bullshit in the world. Like, no one's accountable for anything anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm
There's
dealing
a
with right
lot
now,
of like
actually, at work.
pass it along.
Oh, really, eh?
This is someone
Oh,
else's
yeah.
problem. Yeah, totally. So,
Yeah.
are you allowed to talk about this situation in particular? Or?
What's
Yeah,
the
I don't care.
tea?
Okay.
I
What's the
basically, the short version is it's a he shed, she shed, she shed by the seashore
They
situation.
said.
Basically, when I was overseas last year, I made a call to support one of our task force members
Mhm.
there was confusion over why I made the call, and this person kind of stood back and watched as their peers launched a military police investigation into me,
Ooh.
basically.
Mm.
And then that went away, but that person came home. They were still upset. So now it's become a regular harassment investigation. But,
Wow.
and like the point I'm trying to make is if I simply had an email with the wishes of the original person who I was
Mhm.
supporting,
Mm-hmm.
this would be done. Like it would have been done immediately. But I had no paper trail showing that this was that person's wish,
Right.
whatever the case was. So yeah, I could see why everyone wants emails and texts and paper trail to support whatever they're dealing with.
It's a very
it's a little bit-
litigious society. Sorry, Jenna.
I was gonna say the same thing. Like it's to me sad that we've gotten to this place where it's like I better hang on to this text or email or whatever just in case
Just in
something
case.
comes up later where I might need to support an argument about. It's like you're anticipating.
Yeah, if I didn't have enough anxiety already, like let's just throw future
Yeah.
fucking
But that's the
requests for
reality that
information.
we live in the military, right? Because anyone
Yeah.
can submit an access to information request. And,
Okay.
Colin, I'm sure you've gotten some of those where they're send me every email you have with the word cheeseburger in it between this month and this month. And so you go and you run a search and you forward them, and the
Yeah.
person who's requested it, has the right to get that information.
Mhm.
And so sometimes you do need to have those things to protect yourself. It sucks.
That's
but
why
that's where we're at.
my records system is impeccable. I delete fucking everything.
I was gonna say
I just don't
Control
fucking
A, Control A and delete.
Yeah, when I've been away from work for a while, as I have been, I just fucking Control A.
Just delete all this shit.
Sorry, if it's important, you'll get back to me. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Sure.
If it matters that much, you'll call me or send the military police. Like it's
And
fine.
how we've got some access to information requests, like now that I'm working for DLR, which is
Oh,
Army
yeah, I bet.
Acquisition, which is just going so smoothly.
Tip top.
Man, like some of these things are so specific. I don't even have to check my emails. I'm like, nothing.
Yeah.
No one has asked me to do anything about this. I've been, you know what I mean? It's just completely outside my sandbox. But anyway.
Mhm. Speaking of sandbox,
Oh,
Leroy, you
Segue.
have published a number of books.
self-published. Let's make that
Yes, yes,
clear
sorry.
for our
You
dear
distinguished
listeners
that,
and watchers.
I feel like last time, and like we talked a bit about it, but I feel like just for the new listeners perhaps that are tuning in, he still has written and self-published many books, and I feel
Yeah,
like this
I
is-
thought I had
this
them all.
This is my
Aha!
file here.
Oh,
I thought I
thanks,
had them all,
thanks.
but I went on Amazon and I realized I fucking I'm missing some from my
Are you
Leroy collection.
behind?
I just
Damn. So sorry,
the
Grain of
last three
Sand
were
is the
within the
most
last
recent.
couple months. Yeah, Grain of Sand,
Hey, why don't
Corner
you
Kick, and A
would you-
Manner of Convenience. Yeah,
would you just like maybe hold them up and give us a quick one?
sure. A quick
Yeah.
1-2. All right. My first endeavor, Solid Oak. This was a
Yes.
naughty book for naughty boys and girls.
Oh, that's a good.
Short and
That's a
sweet.
good one too.
The Memories That Made Us. This is more a traditional romance story.
Mhm.
Starts in 2022, goes back to the 50s. So I wrote it in reverse chronological order. Next one,
I can't do anything in chronological order. So that's
Bound
really
by
impressive.
Malice. This is about a guy and a girl who fall in love, and she tries to ruin his life. I took a lot of my own life experiences, and I
Oh,
put them into this. This was the most therapeutic write I've ever
Oh,
enjoyed.
That's awesome.
Okay.
And then Eternus. This one is
That's the
definitely
one I'm reading.
the thickest one. This is a post-apocalyptic fantasy about a guy who's just trying to survive with his village, so to speak. And he stumbles across a stranger who's got some unique abilities, and it kind of goes from there. They're just trying to protect each other and save each other. And then these three, just more naughty books. I'm on a naughty book roll these days.
There you go.
Yeah, so for naughty boys and girls,
So I have a few questions.
I bet you do.
A. Where does the
Where who takes
is it like
whose?
red vines?
I love that scene in the
Pinky
office.
promise.
Yeah. So if I feel like there is an overwhelming amount of spicy books on the market these days,
Yeah.
mostly by female authors and mostly geared towards a female audience.
Yeah.
We're I find it interesting that you're, I'll say, enamored, for lack of a better word, by this particular genre. What draws you to it, and where do you get your inspiration from? And I don't know. It's interesting because
The way you're laughing.
Okay, so
You're
you
like,
made an
Colin,
interesting
you've asked
you
such
you
a
made
deep question.
you made an interesting point how I'd say like 95% of the stuff is written by women. And I've actually considered using a pseudonym, like a female pseudonym for
Mm,
future books. Because I kind of think that maybe if someone sees a male name on the title, so I actually don't put my first name on the naughty books. I have LF, my initials, and then last name.
Mm.
So it's less
Oh,
obvious that it's a male writer. And
mm,
I don't even have
okay.
my photo on the back of the new ones, or anything about the author on the back of the new ones. So I'm hoping that'll help a little bit. But I have considered using a pseudonym
mhm,
to help attract. Um, and as to why I write them, honestly, so the romance genre generates more money than any other genre by a lot.
Oh, I did not
And
know this.
the reason why I started taking writing seriously is because I wanted to leave the armed forces. I was going through a difficult time. Colin remembers about 3.5 years ago. And I was basically, I'm leaving the armed forces. This is
mhm,
absolutely
Mhm.
happening. So I started writing and I'm like, how can I make money? Let me try this genre out. So as for the naughty stuff, honestly, this is arrogant to say, but I'm good at writing sex scenes. And I take pride in that I get feedback from actual females who say this was written well or this was terrible. This,
yeah,
and but that's part of the whole learning process for me is
absolutely,
I've
yeah,
learned,
Mhm.
okay, how do I make it more appealing to the female audience instead of writing what guys want to see and hear kind of thing. So
Mhm.
yeah, and it's fun.
I think it's incredibly bold and courageous. I don't know that too many men would be comfortable even taking a stab at it, let alone putting it out there for the world. I find art is hard to share,
Yeah.
and
And I'm
especially written
thinking,
art.
I think it would be more difficult if I was counting on it to
Yeah.
feed my children and pay my
okay,
bills.
Mhm.
fair,
But I
fair.
have a job, you know, it pays pretty good. I mean, look at all this technology I'm surrounded by right now.
Yeah.
And my stomach is full of warm food and my daughter's going to
Mhm.
sleep in a safe bedroom. So
Mhm.
I'm lucky that I have a job that pays all that stuff. So this is like, if it works, great. And if it doesn't, I still get paid.
Yeah.
And you're having, I think, having fun doing it. So that's,
I am. I am. I've learned a lot. I've learned a
yeah.
lot from the practice because I do all like for these. I use Chat GPT to generate the covers for these three books.
Oh,
Nice.
So
interesting.
I've started tapping into AI to help touch up some of the passages, maybe get some ideas, and doing all the covers. So I do all the editing, I do all the formatting, I do all the cover
Mhm.
stuff myself. So it's all been a whole learning experience for me, and I still have a lot more to learn, obviously, because I'm not getting paid much to do it.
You're not doing it for, like you said, the income. What is the, say more about like using ChatGPT as a tool? Like that's very interesting.
So ChatGPT with the premium version, you can generate images. You basically feed it a line, and it'll generate what it thinks you want to see, and then you
Okay.
can try and adjust it. It doesn't edit it very fluidly. It's still
Mhm.
a tool that's being developed,
Mm-hmm.
but for creating images, it's quite impressive.
Nice.
And we have access to Microsoft's version of it at work.
Okay.
So let's say my boss tells me to write a memo about whatever. We need more tea in the library.
Yeah.
So I can write a memo about it and I'll throw it into Copilot, I think is Microsoft's version.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Okay.
you just simply type, make it better, and it'll give you suggestions for how to improve some of the. Now, the writing isn't that great in
Mm-hmm.
AI.
Okay.
It's not that great. It's like mediocre writing. So
Mhm.
you really got to take it with a grain of salt. If you have any ability in writing, you'll see right away, okay, this is like kind of ordinary-ish writing, the type of stuff you'd see on a Ottawa Citizen e-news article, right? Like
Okay.
they, what is it? They write to
Really
a grade 6
phoning it
level,
in.
something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty simple stuff. You're not going to
Mhm.
get Stephen King type writing out of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Can I ask, what's your process? And I was reading Eternus, and we talked about this on the phone the other night. But when I think about writing, my mind is a little too sequential, I think, in the
Mhm.
sense that I know I read a ton. I know people don't think I can read. I read a ton. So I feel like I can tell what good writing is, and I feel like when I read your stuff, at least Eternus, it feels like good writing, and I feel
Mhm.
like you're subtle enough to introduce the readers to what they need when they need to read it
Mhm.
without overwhelming them. You know, I picture the first book from Game of Thrones, and it took me forever just to get through that book because it felt like every chapter started with the autobiography of the character he introduces.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I mean, it's just a different style, it's a different approach, that's fine, but when it's an 800-page book, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, let's give me nuggets as we go kind of thing, and I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
that's, so how do you conceive of what you're writing, and then how
Mhm.
do you go about creating it?
Well, first of all, thank you for the kind words and the compliment. I appreciate it immensely. You're a very intelligent guy. So the fact that you're saying that means a lot to me. And Eternus, honestly, I did put more effort into that book than I have any of the other books. Um, and as for process, so I don't get writer's block. And the reason I don't get writer's block is because I don't limit myself of writing chapter 1 through chapter 20 in that
Right.
order.
Okay.
Okay.
If I've written chapters 1 and 2 and I'm on 3 and I don't really know where it has to go, I'm going to jump to chapter 10 because I know I want this scene to happen somewhere in the book. So
Mhm.
sometimes I'll write a chapter where I don't know where it fits in my story. I just know I want that chapter to happen.
Mhm.
And so what'll end up happening is, say I've written chapter 10. By the time I get 8, 9, and I'm at 10, I'll have to tweak it and adjust it so that it flows better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but honestly, I find I just have to start. The hardest part is just beginning. It's just typing the first sentence and then it goes. And you actually gave me that book on writing by Stephen King, and I- I've only read that and a recent book by him. I haven't read any of his other books, but in that book on writing, he talks about how he said just write, whether it's good or bad, just write. That's what the editing process is for.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't get hung up on, oh, this passage sucks. I don't care. It's garbage. I'll edit it later, or I'll just delete it if it doesn't
Mhm.
serve any purpose to the book. So once I start writing, I'll get an idea of characters. I'll write them down. I'll start writing like an outline. I'll write all the chapters down. I've written, okay, written chapters 1 through 16. What do they all have? So then I can just kind of look at it as a as like a whole. I'm like, okay, these things have happened. Oh, I really want this to happen at this point. Okay, insert chapter here, and I'll just scribble a note there, and then I'll write it later on. Um, Editing is the worst part. So the funny thing is, I've told you this in personal conversation before, how it would be nice to write full time for myself, but editing sucks. Like editing
Yeah.
sucks so much. It's as bad as all the worst parts of our day jobs.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely. Like, so if I was writing for myself, I'd be writing 7 days a week to
Mhm.
generate any kind of decent income.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't know if I answered your question, but I said a bunch of stuff, and you
I
haven't
think
kicked
you
me off,
did,
so
and
we're still going.
my brain kind of the way I interpret what you said is, and that's what I really like is because you're giving yourself flexibility and freedom while you're writing. So you keep the ideas fresh while you skip from one spot to the next. You're keeping them. You know, I worry that maybe sometimes when you're writing, you think about something. If you don't write it down as a note or whatever, maybe it doesn't make it because you completely forgot about it.
Mhm.
But I think it would probably create better flow more natural read because you're not trying so hard to get to the next rung on the ladder. You're
Yeah.
just writing the things that are coming to you, and that flow is what creates the ease of reading
Yeah.
for the readers, which is so. Yeah, I think it answers the question. That's a really interesting approach that I'd never had considered.
And another thing too, you were talking about how I don't give every single detail to each character in each scene. And I think part of it is because I have a crappy attention span.
Okay.
Like there's some books I'll
Fair,
read
fair.
and I just can't get through it because dude is spending half an hour describing the guy's belt buckle. Like
Oh yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Mhm.
And honestly, Stephen King is notorious for this. So I just read a book by him called Fairy Tale. And honest to God, the story is amazing. It's an incredible story, but the descriptive detail is too much for me. Like I would straight up skip a whole page because I would just lose interest in what he was describing. And it's incredible. It is incredible. The words he uses, the phraseology, all of the stuff he uses is next level. Obviously, the guy's a genius, but I just don't have that attention span. And so I don't want to inflict that kind of pain on anyone who's willing to take a chance on my writing. Right.
Fair.
Most people we're simpletons for the most part. Right. I'm not trying to write for highbrow people. I just want to write for guys and girls like me who just want to be kind of amused and entertained, or maybe turned on, depending on what they're reading, and have themselves a hey diddle diddle.
I can't wait to get rock hard reading some of these books.
You're not already? What?
I mean, now I am because we're talking, but
It's abs time, Jenna. Underscore question mark.
Hey, speaking of rock hard, what do you said you didn't put your picture on your newer books,
Yeah.
with a view to seeing if it generates more interest. What if you put a picture of yourself, but instead of that boring author photo, it's you
Abs.
topless?
I actually considered that.
Mm.
I considered
What
that
stopped you?
integrity.
I like how you use such like a really, really appropriate word, but with a little element of shame. Integrity. I wish I didn't have it.
Yeah.
I think integrity.
Okay.
That's fair. That's fair. Maybe later on when people realize you're a man, and then you can put that on there because you're still rocking it.
So that's actually, so it's funny you say that because I think it would be amusing to have, and this is like 10 years down the road when I actually get kind of okay at writing, to have a fan base that is intrigued by the fact that I'm a man. Because one of the things I do take pride in, not just that the sex scenes are good, but that I'm able to tap into the way a female would think about a certain situation. So I've had women screen some of my writing to be like, is this how a woman would think about this situation? And more I'll get yeah, that actually makes sense. And I attribute this to the fact that I do my best to listen when females are talking, honestly, because I'm curious. It's curiosity for me. It's a curiosity thing. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious what makes people tick, and I know how dudes think because I've been one for 40 years.
Yeah.
But I find it like I wish I had listened more when I was younger because I think I could have salvaged different relationships with females, whether it was friendship or other, by validating and just kind of understanding more what they were saying or what they were implying or what they were trying to say versus the words that actually came out of their mouth.
I don't want this to be taken the wrong way, but I don't think a lot of people were communicating well. I feel like that's like a new-ish sort of revelation. Like, oh my God, communication is like actually really important, especially if you're trying to foster like a romantic relationship or something more than friendship, right? So, yeah, I don't think you're alone. And I was actually just having the thought before you brought it up. You're probably going to end up tapping into a niche market because you are a male writer in a female-dominated genre, right?
Yeah.
So I think you'll end up with those like long-term, we can't wait for his next book to come, that sort of thing, right?
Maybe
a real following.
Maybe. Or you know what, maybe one day I'll just ditch the whole erotic genre altogether because I'm still writing other things. So honestly, like the erotic stuff is easy for me to write because love stories are pretty easy. I have a formula that I follow now.
Wow.
I have peaks and troughs for what happens to the characters and what kind of interactions they have and like when do they have sex, which chapter they have sex. Like I have that formula not down, but I have a formula, and so I adjust it. But I'm still
That
working
you're
on
happy with,
other
obviously.
books. Yeah, I'm actually writing a book about suicide. Not like
Ooh.
Not
it's
an
still like
erotic one though, right?
no, no. I'm not.
Whew.
Nick Cage already made 9mm or 8mm. I don't need to revisit that story.
Um,
That's, I feel like that's, I don't say that's really important, but like it's a real thing. And I remember watching, I think it was called 13 Reasons Why.
mhm,
It was a series, I don't know if you saw it, but on Netflix, and it's centered around a female character. And you knew she commits suicide,
mhm.
but it was sort of the telling of like the things that led to this
Yeah,
oof.
happening.
yeah.
And so, yeah, like it was very quote unquote taboo. We can all understand why. Um, but it happens all the time. There, I think there's some stat. It's like the second uh second highest cause of death for men, like young men, I think it is,
Mhm.
which is heartbreaking. But like, yeah. So, is that why you kind of like are
I'm writing
talking
it.
about
I'm
this,
honestly
or
I'm writing it because it's therapeutic for me.
okay?
Because I've had episodes in my life where I contemplated it and I planned it out and I thought I was going to go through with it. Like that period, Colin, 3.5 years ago there, I thought about it. I really did think about it. And I had a plan for it. I was going to make it look like an accident. And ultimately, I just was like, I can't do that to my family. I can't do that to my friends. Um, so, me writing about it is a mechanism of therapy. Like all of this writing has been therapeutic
Mhm.
for me. I can honestly say writing has helped bring my life back on track from that dark time. And so it's therapeutic for me to write about. I write some of like it's the book is fiction, but I write a lot of my own feelings into the character's voice. Um, so it's just another mechanism of, I guess, maybe enabling people to understand how someone gets to a point where they think that that's their only option,
Right.
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
I don't know that it's an illness. I don't know what the clinical words are for it. I just know that at a certain point, guys and girls get to a point where they're like, this is the only way that I can feel some peace.
Mhm.
And that's it.
That's tough.
Yeah, it is, yeah. And like it's a heavy subject, obviously. And I'm sorry that you ever, might I just say, like I'm sorry you ever felt that way. I'm glad
But
you're
I'm
on the
grateful.
other
I'm
side of
grateful
it.
because
Yeah.
I got to experience that so I can understand it better. I had
Mhm.
friends like Colin around me during that period, who honestly like kept me alive.
Mhm.
There was a handful of guys um, that just kept me in one piece. They didn't know they were doing it, but they were doing it,
Mhm.
so I'm grateful. So I can
Little
only
did I
fathom.
know that napping in
Yeah,
your office was helping you.
dude, I miss that
Aw.
office so much. I'm in a cubicle world now. I can't
Hmm.
fucking. Wait, there is a lactation room in our building. I might use that, but yeah. Oh, that office was wicked because it
It
had no
was very,
windows.
and it was so far removed from like the main path of people. No
Yeah,
one,
there was no chance of someone accidentally come to that office.
yeah,
If you were coming to
Mhm.
that office, you were coming for a nap. Like there was no, or to just fuck around.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Good times, good times.
It
Well,
was a
yeah,
good time.
I think one of the hardest parts about sort of being and living is appreciating the fact that we're here to experience the
Mhm.
breadth of emotions that we have. It's the only reason they exist.
Mhm.
It's the only reason why. I don't know. There's no good way to say it. I don't think, but I think it's to appreciate uh, the experiences and the emotions for what they are, and like you said, to learn from them. And
Mhm.
now you're turning that into something that's a little bit more positive, a little bit more productive. And I love that you're using writing as a form of therapy. That's what I do. I
Oh,
journal a lot,
absolutely.
and it's I mean for me personally, and I say this to Cassie all the time when I'm stuck, I'm feeling negative, I'm feeling down, whatever. Most of the time, I just have to share with her
Mhm.
what I'm feeling, and then it kind of goes away.
Yeah.
I'm no
Mhm.
longer keeping this secret. It's no longer a thing because
Yeah.
now it's out there.
holding
And
you hostage.
Well, you're lucky that you have someone who's
emotionally.
going to listen and validate what you're saying, right? Like,
Yeah.
if she gave you shit or didn't listen or didn't validate you, you wouldn't ever speak of it again.
no, and I
So
mean, there's a
clearly,
great
she's a legend
example.
of a girl, right? Like,
Well, she is, and we're still unraveling that mystery. Um,
of
there's
why
a
the hell she chose you. Yeah, me too.
daily. There's a great example of what you just said that was floating around on TikTok a while ago, and that was the guy in his spool of wire, and
Oh yeah,
he was just reminiscing about,
yeah.
he had this for I don't know how many years. I remember I've got that big green ball of rope we always take camping, Jenna. I've had that since
Mhm.
2010.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Paracord?
Yeah, from Cap,
Hell yeah.
just all the ad rep shit that they didn't want
Yep.
back. I took a bunch of it. Anyway, she low key kind of makes fun of him for it, and he kind of walks away. But the example that demonstrated was, it's difficult for anyone to be vulnerable,
Yeah.
and to take that gift that they're giving you, which is their vulnerability, and to
Yeah.
embarrass them or humiliate them is probably the lowest thing you can do.
Oh my god, I can't. So either it was staged, or I can't believe that that person put that online. Like, if someone had taken my moment like that and posted it up, I would have been furious.
And then
Mhm.
she made a follow-up video where she said basically that we were just joking or whatever, and she put him on it, and I don't think anyone believed it. It was like like people reading the
The
hostage
sadness in his
letter.
face was
Yeah,
genuine. Like, that was
it
a
was real.
genuine moment.
Yeah,
If he was that good of an actor, he'd be getting paid tagged.
for sure.
He
That
was just having a dude moment, and she took advantage of it. And I hope she falls down some stairs. That's it.
oh yeah, like a lot of them, and the ones with the hard corners too.
Oh, I fell down a bunch of those when I was like under a year. No, seriously. So back in the day,
Oh.
they used to have those walkers where you put a child in it, it had wheels, and they could kick themselves
Oh
around.
yeah.
Yes.
So I went down hella concrete steps in one of those. That's why my brain is like IQ 76.
You and Cassie have resolute experience. She did
Oh yeah,
the exact same thing.
Oh,
nice.
no.
That's why her
Yeah,
and I get along so well.
I think so.
Both
Yeah,
have brain damage. Perfect.
yeah. Mysteriously
CTE.
attracted to me. Who knows? Just moving right along. There's also more going on with you. You're a lot more involved on social media. You had a bit of a hiatus there for a while. And
Yeah.
now it seems like you're back. It seems a little less I'll say structured. That's not the right word. I think it's just
Scheduled,
maybe.
No, I think that's accurate. That's accurate. Yeah.
So
Because it
walk
was
us
every
through that.
Tuesday. That was the thing. It
Yeah.
was like every Tuesday, I would do the thing, and it was like a 2-3 minute clip. And honestly, so I'm old, and like
I'm
old in the realm of social media.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I refuse to get on the stories train. I'm like, goddamn youngins and their stories.
They
So-
just keep changing the
Yeah, but the
platform.
stories are
Yeah.
convenient, right? Because it's just like it's the first thing people see, and it's a very short
Yes.
clip, right? It used to be 30 seconds, now they can be up to a minute.
Yes.
So I went from doing my weekly thing to a couple times a week when a thought comes into my head, or I learn a lesson, or I hear something, or I remember something from my childhood. Like, my father was all about philosophical quotes. He was
Mhm.
always throwing them out. He put them up on the fridge. That was like one of my last ones from a few days ago. So now I will create it as a story. Uh, Social media, Facebook now allows you to throw a little bit of music into it.
Yeah.
It'll automatically like closed caption it, and then I'll post it as an actual video as well.
Nice.
But ultimately, the function is to pass on the things that I learned, whether it's a mistake I've made or something I've learned from someone else, or some great quote that I've heard from someone else. There's a lot of trash on social media. Honestly, if it wasn't for writing, I would shut down my social media completely tomorrow.
Mhm. I
It's
don't think you're
more
alone in that.
garbage
Yeah.
than good, and so I guess I'm just trying to help bring a little slice of positivity and usefulness to it. So I would argue that I'm still trying to find my voice in that realm. And the
Yeah.
funny thing is, every time I'm about to quit, where I'm like, I'm done doing this shit, every single time I've thought about quitting, I'll get a message from someone and say, "Hey man, I like today's video. Keep it going."
Wow. Yeah.
It'll just be a one-liner, and I'll be like, "Oh fuck, now I can't quit."
It's
And I
Son of a
literally
so I
the
bitch.
just keep going.
sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
the consistency that I need to work on because
I
um
feel that.
the once a week thing was good. Tuesdays, it
Yep.
became my thing.
Yep.
But now that I'm doing like 30-second stories, if I can do them daily, that'd be ideal. But like you guys, right? It took you a couple of years to get your 100th episode. Things get
Life
in the way, you
made
get
it happen.
distracted, or maybe some days I'm like, I don't have anything useful to say today. I'm just gonna
That's
shut the fuck
totally
up.
valid. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the useful thing though. It's like not every day is a thing.
Yeah,
Good or bad. So, like
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
the flat days or the good days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
that's where I'm at. So
I guess
there's
we're
no
done
title to
talking
it.
now.
There's no there's no title to it. It's just words.
No, it's
Mhm.
good because it's Leroy now. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just Leroy sharing himself with the world, which I think is awesome. Because I
Mhm.
agree
Thank
with
you.
you. There's this genre of social media post called hopecore. And it's
Ooh,
like
yeah, I've heard of this.
it's just like that idea that
have
there
not.
is
Tell me
good out
more.
there. There's positivity. People do good things for each other. It's not
Yeah.
just like I saw a video yesterday of like someone trying to commit insurance fraud by
Yeah.
faking a rear end kind of thing.
Oh, where they
Cool,
back
cool,
up
cool, cool.
into
Yeah,
when they
yeah.
get out, and then when they see the dash cam, they kind of bail.
Yeah, they all
Yeah.
get out and they're like, "Oh, my neck." Anyway, it's just
Yeah.
like there of course there's so much of that, and
Yeah.
I think the real problem is, if you're on social media any amount of time during the day, you're
Yeah.
exposing yourself to the wrong view of what the world
Mhm.
actually is.
To a certain
There's-
extent, yeah.
Well, a great
Yeah.
example of this is this guy posted a video of himself traveling in Afghanistan, and he says, "Here's the biggest scam in Afghanistan. You
Oh,
go to this
yeah.
restaurant, and
Yeah,
they
but
get
they're
these
so nice to him.
they got these
Yeah.
meat pucks, and they'll get you in, and you'll eat, and they'll bring you into you get your own private room, and they
Yeah.
dress it up nice, and they
And
bring
then you
this
don't pay.
whole big
And at
spread.
the end
Yeah,
of it, they don't make him pay.
Yeah,
I know.
and-
But that's like clickbait, right?
it is.
It's like
it
all
is.
those videos. Like if you look up any car, say you look up Tesla Model 3, the first 15 videos are going to say the truth about the Model 3 because they use those catchwords and those clickbait things to lure you in, right? Scam,
Catfishing.
the truth. This is why you should never own
Yeah.
a Tacoma. But then it's
Anything with
it's a
numbers
video
in it,
praising
yeah.
the Tacoma because
Yeah.
I think people gravitate towards negative shit. And it's
And that
because
is
it's more
very true.
interesting. It's more intriguing. Like you
Well-
go on CBC News, CTV News, most of it's garbage, like bad news. But
Mhm.
let's be real. Most people are really good people, right? There's very, very few people who wake up in the morning and think, I'm going to do something malicious today. Even evil people wake up in the morning thinking they're going to do good,
Probably. Yeah.
right? The Russian prez doesn't wake up in the morning and he's like, nah, I'm evil. No, he wakes up, he's like, I'm going to do great things for Mother Russia. Like that's
Yeah.
Fuck,
whatever
you
he
just-
sounds like. I don't actually know what he sounds
You
like.
said something earlier. Fuck, what was it?
I want to say it's on the vein of like doing.
I would delete
good.
social media tomorrow.
No, it was like
Yeah.
literally a hot second ago.
So
was
while
some-
you're thinking about that, I do want
Yeah.
to talk about the thing that I said about trash on social media. And I don't mean
Oh my
entertainment.
God.
Entertainment's fantastic. Love the entertainment. But I mean the actual trash content, like what Colin was talking about there with the
Mhm.
these people are backing up trying to commit insurance fraud. I love the entertainment stuff. Like there's this farmer family, Gatlin died or something. It's like him, his cousin, his grandmother.
Yeah.
They make hilarious and informative videos. And I find the key is to control myself. So I have timers set on my Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
30
Yeah.
minutes, it pops up and it's like, yo, you're done. And then I just close it.
Time limit.
I got to
yeah.
do that because
So I think that tool is very useful, and
Yeah.
it's I think more people should use it. I hate that there's an override for it
yeah.
because it defies the whole point.
So Instagram's
having-
override is more difficult to enact. So when
Okay.
Facebook's pop up,
Good.
immediately you
Yeah.
can hit a snooze.
Okay.
When Instagram's pops up, you have to hit more options and then there's another sequence.
okay.
So I'm more likely to close Instagram immediately because there's no snooze button right in my
Yes.
face.
Yes.
And I found them useful because it just brings to my attention that I've spent that much time on it. Right
Exactly.
before, it's
Yeah.
like you scroll, and it's like, where did the last 90 minutes go?
What do they call it?
Man,
Doom scrolling.
doom
Yeah.
Yeah.
scrolling. Yeah,
Yeah.
There are
And then your
ads that you can't
cortisol.
override. Sorry.
Sorry, ads you can't override. Go ahead.
Did I say ads? Apps. There's
Apps.
apps you
Okay.
can get where, like, once you set it, like, you can't go in
yeah.
and unset it, kind of thing. I
Got
don't
it.
know that. But yeah,
Oh, that'd
Jenna,
be tight.
cortisol, stress. Let's hit it.
Oh, what happens also is when you're on these apps, what's happening in your brain, and like, I'm not a scientist by any means, so like, don't quote me on this, but from my very limited understanding, it's like you're getting these cortisol spikes
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're trying to get that feel good hit,
and
and you
you're
get that
trying to
one
get the
video that
dopamine
feels
out of
good, and
it.
you're trying to get
Yep.
another one, and it's very difficult to do that.
Yes. Yeah.
Dopamine.
You're looking for those dopamine hits. Yeah.
Yeah,
And what you're
yeah,
getting is a lot of cortisol.
yeah.
And then you end up in this cycle of like, it's almost like pulling the lever at like a slot machine or
Slot
whatever,
machine.
where you're like, the
It's like, I
next
need
one,
to.
but the
I just need
next
to feel
one.
good on the next one, and
Totally.
then
Yeah.
I'll close it. Yeah, yeah,
I was what I was thinking about earlier, about why there's so much negativity on social media is because
Okay.
I think it's just easier to feel negative.
yeah.
I think
It's
it's
like more
hard.
default feeling.
Yeah, it's hard to
It
be
is.
positive,
It is.
especially because
It's an
life is
effort.
fucking hard.
Yeah.
You're stressed every day. You got problems, stupid conversations, idiots
And that's
in
the
your
big
life.
reason why there's days where I don't post anything.
Okay.
So the days that I feel the worst, I'm like, man, I can't. Like, fuck everybody. I'm gonna eat a chicken burger and go to sleep.
Yeah.
But
Like,
you should be posting that. You're like, guys, I'm not having a great day. And guess what? That's okay. I'm having
yeah,
a cheeseburger. I'm
yeah.
gonna eat my feelings. So
And
tomorrow we're gonna try again.
sometimes I do talk. So a little while ago, I started making posts, not videos, just a post about, hey, if you're having a tough time, you can shoot me a message. We can talk about it. The days that I feel worse are actually the worst are the days that I do that, because I find talking to people about their stuff often will help me. One is a distraction from my
Mhm.
own stuff, because if I'm too busy supporting somebody else, I don't have time to feel sorry for myself, because feeling sorry for myself is counterproductive. I get nowhere for it. And it often gives me perspective, because, yep, like Colin, you know me, I've dealt with some significant real problems, but some days you have problems where it's like, it's stupid. I know it's
Mhm.
stupid. Jenna
Mhm.
knows it's stupid, but I feel like, I just feel like shit today. And so when I find myself talking to someone, listening to their problems, I'm like, oh, maybe my day is actually quite spectacular. I find reading the news helps with that, but you got
Doesn't
to be
help me.
careful because it tips you into depression if you're not
Yeah,
careful.
yeah.
Yeah. There's
I
a
just get
very like
so fucking
fine
mad at
line.
stupid
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I mean, like, I'll read about what's happening around the world, and it's important to just kind of have a know of what's going on, but it gives me that perspective. And I have these conversations with my children. My kids are 12 and 15 now. And so I
Mhm.
have very real
Wow.
conversations with them about how good we have it. They know. Like, my daughter knows. My daughter knows that it's safe here, that nobody's going to kidnap her. She
Mhm.
knows that there's parts in the world where girls get taken. I don't
Mhm.
tell her the rest of the story,
Mhm.
but she knows that there's places where people get taken and killed, and it's just shit. And we're really
Very
lucky to be here.
specific
So
set of skills.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
I tell my kids, you're
True.
safe here for
yeah.
now.
For now,
For now.
as long as you keep doing your chores.
Keep talking back, pal. We'll see how
Yeah.
fucking safe you are.
Are your kids lippy? Are they mouthy?
They're so fucking lippy, man.
Really?
Your
I
kids
just want to throw
are
William through the
highly
fucking wall.
intelligent.
If I
is the
started
thing.
today and didn't stop for 10 years, there wouldn't be enough walls to fucking put you through.
Oh man.
Man, I'm lucky. My kids are not lippy, even though they're teenagers now.
Well, they're
Okay, but wait.
experimenting with their own autonomy, you know what I mean? So
You
Yeah.
comes
have
with the territory.
you have 2 daughters. Am I remembering this right?
No, I have a son. So my son
Your
is
youngest.
15
Okay.
and my
oldest,
daughter
okay.
is 12. Yeah.
Okay. Because Jordan and I have been warned that teenage girls are the worst.
Oh, I thought you were
Like,
going to say delightful.
like they have done like actual testing, and like
Yeah.
a lot of teenage girls uh what's the word, like test as psychotic in their teenage years. Yeah.
As a former teenage boy
Okay.
trying to
Tell us.
hold hands and kiss with teenage girls, I can tell you
Mhm.
they were fucking psychos.
They're
Straight up.
crazy.
But it's not their
Yeah,
fault. It's like hormones are insane.
it
They're
is
insane.
Yeah.
crazy.
So I was angry all the time as a teen. From the
Okay.
age of like 13 until
Rage.
last week, I was angry all the time. All the time. And so I tell my
Seriously.
son about it. I don't know, he's 15, doesn't tell me all that much because he's 15. But I just tell
He's like,
him
I'm not going to share
things.
my emotions with my
No,
dad.
and that's okay. It's perfectly okay. But I just tell him
Mhm.
things. I'll just say, we'll be sitting, I'll be like, you know what? When I was your age, I was pissed off all the time.
Ooh.
And I just say it so that he can hear it. And if he's feeling it, he can be
It's
like, oh, okay.
normal.
It's
Yeah.
normal. It's perfectly normal.
N-
So we'll see what happens with my
Nachos.
daughter. We'll see
I'm
what
trying to
happens
do
with
the
my
same
daughter.
thing with their
Yeah,
negative
keep us
emotions.
posted.
Yeah, I'm
With the
trying to
negative
like
emotions.
we all think, I don't know. We think that being angry or mad or sad is not a good thing.
No, it's normal. It's normal.
Yeah.
But it is, and that's
Yeah.
it. It's normal. And like, so whenever the kids are upset or they're lippy or they don't like anything, I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
it's okay to be mad.
Yeah.
But here's, you know what I mean? You can be mad, but you
Yeah.
can't be mean.
You just can't be an
know?
asshole. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Actually,
And
I made a video today about how stress and anxiety is good for you. And it really is. I think it's weird that people want to live in stress and anxious free life. It keeps you sharp.
impulsivity.
It keeps you sharp. It gives you
Mhm.
perspective. Makes you stronger. I don't know. I just
keeps your eyes out for the child kidnappers.
yeah, that's right.
I saw this great video. It was this 911 call, and basically this guy calls in, and the dispatcher's like, "So what's going on?" He goes, "There's these internet stalkers outside my house." And they're like, "Well, what do you mean?" "This guy has been fucking stalking me online, and now he's outside my house, and there's camera guys. There's like 6 of them." "Well, do you happen to know the guy's name?" He goes, "Yeah, it's Rick Hansen."
Chris Hansen. Chris Hansen.
Yeah. From To Catch a Predator. That was so fucking funny,
dude. I love To Catch a Predator. I love it so much. The other night I was on oh my god, I watched like 90 minutes of it. So there's like, Chris Hansen was like the original guy, right? It was Daylight NBC. They were connected with the police. Like it was a very formal and
Now people just go out and do it.
but the crazy thing is people do it and they tell the guys, they're like, either you take a bunch of slaps from us or we call the police. And these dudes will just take the slaps and they're just getting smacked around. And these people upload these videos. Now, I like
Does
it's
that make
it's a-
you accessory to a crime?
to
If
watching
you
it.
know what this
wonder.
person, no, yeah, to watch it. If you know what this person's doing, and then you don't report it,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
Dude,
know.
I'm not
I
a
guess
cop.
you didn't. Yeah,
I've been the target of investigations. I've not been part of investigations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
lately, this is, yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know
Mhm.
what the rules are. I just wait for them to say, "Hey, you're free to go," and then I carry on with my life. Write another book.
You're good.
I can't. I
Yeah,
think I. Sorry, go ahead, Jenna.
nothing
I
to
feel
add.
like
Go ahead.
we're all fairly empathetic here, the three of us. And I whenever I watch these videos, I'm like, "Fuck yeah, get him!" But then I'm like,
oh,
man, my heart starts racing for the other guy. I'm like, he must be so fucking scared right now. My life so, and honestly, like, good. You should be.
I don't feel
fucking
bad for
terrified.
them at all. I
I
don't feel
don't
bad for them
feel
at
bad.
all.
I don't feel bad at all.
It's
I
not
just,
like it's cultural confusion or whatever, right?
I
It's
mean, that's a
a
thin excuse anyway.
very yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's
Yeah.
like you see the guy's face. He knows he's screwed up. He's like walking timidly up to the house, and then there's like this courageous teenage actor that's there that's like risking their own safety, right? Have you seen those where like there's a young woman or a young
Yeah.
guy and they like invite the guy into their home and they almost always try and reach for them and then they kind of scurry away and they have it. Man, then Chris Hansen busts out. He's like, "What are you doing here?" Oh my god, I love it. And he tells them to sit down, and they always sit. They always sit.
They're like,
Yeah,
I would
'cause
like
they're
They
to
don't
take
just
action.
run. They just
It's
sit
because they're
and they
fucking
take it.
spineless. Yeah.
Dude, they just take it. Oh, I
What's
love it.
what show was
As a
it?
person with children, I love it. Hell yeah, crush those fools.
Was it the Man Show where they did the spoof?
Mansers.
Was it with the GameCube? We're playing GameCube. It was basically To Catch a Predator, but it was like
No,
bros.
it was it was Derek Comedy.
Oh wow.
It was Derek Comedy where the
They
guy
show
shows
up.
up with the he's just like got a bag of dildos.
Yeah. He's like, I'm just here to play GameCube. What's in the bag?
Yeah, it's just a bag of dildos, yeah.
Like
He's like,
so
"You got
many.
Axe body spray in here. Oh, sometimes I like to smell like an axe." Like, what's the big deal?
The
Yeah,
shit they
Derek
come up
Comedy.
with.
Oh, that was
And
fantastic.
honestly, that was the original internet was fucking priceless. I showed
Orig-
William a bunch of
The early
vines.
years.
Oh yeah.
Boy,
Even
yeah.
before that, when YouTube was fresh,
Yeah,
like, it was
yeah.
beautiful.
Do you remember
yeah.
before social media when you would just go on? I don't even remember what the websites were called, but you could just like scroll through I guess E-Bombs World was one version. of this,
E-Bombs.
where
Hell
you could
yeah.
just, like,
New
add
Grounds. Yeah.
Newgrounds.
New
there you
Grounds was
go.
incredible. Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's actually a series called There She Is that was on Newgrounds originally. It's a 5-part animated series about
Okay.
forbidden love. It's about a rabbit and a bunny, not like but like animated,
Mhm.
and they basically fall in love with each other, and the whole series is them dealing with cultural pressures of hating on or supporting their cross species love kind of thing. And it's still like every once in a while I'll watch it. It's incredible. Check it out.
Just
There
a
She
little
Is. You can
refresh,
find it
yeah.
on YouTube anywhere, but it was on Newgrounds originally. It was like, on Newgrounds they had a list. It was like top 100 as voted or watched by, and There She Is was like in the top 10, all 5 episodes for a very, very long time.
all the time. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was. I'm sure there was, as you said earlier, internet garbage too, but a lot of gems came out.
Oh yeah, I was also 15 at the time, so like
Yeah, everything was like
I was walking garbage, so it was
Yeah.
kind of perfect anyway.
You were like,
Oh.
"This is my lane. I love it."
Oh yeah, it was my jam, like Stick Death. It was like it was just a guy who animated six figures killing each other, and I could not get enough of my 14-year-old
It's
self
like digital
with my
flip books.
56K modem. Like, don't pick up the phone, mom. I'm trying to watch Stick Death and
You're
and
gonna
download
disconnect,
Fools
yeah.
Rush In by Elvis so I can just be a lovesick idiot.
Oh man,
Love
I
that
remember
Elvis.
LimeWire
Yes.
and
yes.
just getting rickrolled like nonstop.
Napster was the
man.
first one. Napster was the first
Napster,
one for
yeah.
me.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, Napster was a good one. But I like you couldn't verify the contents
Oh,
of the file
yeah.
until you got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're like, wow, this is not the song I fucking asked for.
So I was
Over and
trying to
over and
learn
over.
how to skateboard at one point, and I downloaded
Mhm.
this. It was like Skater Dudes video. It was not
Okay.
about
Was it a
skateboarding.
bag full of dildos?
It was gay porn. It was it was like skateboarding guys. So the
Plot
first 2
twist.
minutes is them skating around. I'm like, oh, okay, sweet. And then it's just 50 minutes of them getting down. Don't ask
do
me
you-
how I know it was full 50 minutes. But like,
I do know my
considering
follow-up
how-
question.
considering how because I know you, considering how slow the internet was at the time, like I wasted a lot of hours trying to download this skating video, and I got gypped.
Yeah, well,
I want to say, like, to support your like wanting so badly maybe to learn how to skateboard. You were like, but they go back to skateboarding eventually, right? You're like, I can picture like
That
clicking
hope,
through, be like,
just
maybe
like-
in 10 minutes,
just
maybe
watching
in
it like,
20 minutes.
Okay,
yeah.
they must. He's almost done. He
they're
can't
just
go
taking a
another
last
20
break.
very
minutes.
Yeah,
long. Yeah.
that's so fucking funny. Oh my god.
Oh, man.
God,
Sorry,
the
Paul,
internet.
you were gonna say something.
Oh, I was just gonna make a Euro Trip reference. The girls never came.
Oh.
Here's a fun fact: you made out with your sister.
Oh yeah, that was so good. It's such a fucking good movie.
It was a good movie.
Where's the beef?
Oh my god. Yeah, Xena Warrior Princess was in that one. That was a surprise.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh
know
yeah,
that.
she was the
Yeah.
dominatrix. Yeah,
Yeah, she's like the head
Hans
of that
Gruber.
brothel.
Checks out.
Yeah, he
Pick out the
guesses
testicle
the
caps.
safe word. Yeah. It was like a it was like a sawzall with 3 dildos on it, okay, and a laser fucking aimer. Hey, cool shirt. Club
Poor
Panda
Jenna.
sex. I won't
Jenna's
talk
like, I
about
didn't
it.
sign up for this. I wish I'd
I
logged off 30 minutes ago.
No, I must say I don't think I ever saw Eurotrip. It was probably like
That's for the best.
it was probably one of those movies that my parents were like,
You see,
no,
watching it as an adult now would be terrible.
Yeah.
right.
The
Me
only way
giggling
it's-
about it is reminiscing of the feelings I had as a
Mhm.
however old I was when it came out. It's
Originally,
like
there's nostalgia,
I watched
yeah.
Borat again not too long ago, and it's just
Oh,
not
no?
the same.
Yep.
Yeah, like it's just not the
That's how
same.
I feel every time I watch Johnny Tsunami. It's just
What is Johnny Tsunami?
I
Is
used
that
to
is that a skating video that turned out to be a porn? Because that is
Kind
a
of.
very porn name.
kind of Tsunami. It was
Like
a
Leroy Pipe.
wave. One of my favorite fucking my favorite names is Barney, one of Barney Stinson's characters from How I Met Your Mother.
How I Met Your Mother,
Yeah.
They keep calling him I don't know, someone calls out a name, they're like Jack Package. It's like it's Jacques Package,
Jacques Package.
but he knows everyone's gonna say Jack Package. It's just
Yeah,
so
obviously.
it's so blunt, but it's so fucking funny.
That's beautiful.
I used to
Well played.
live for Disney's, like the Wonderful World of Disney, whatever night of the week that was, and they
Mm.
put
Sunday
on a
night,
fucking
6 p.m.
Disney movie. There was this
Mhm.
one I fucking was obsessed with called Brink, because the guy's name was Brinker or Brinkner or whatever, and he's a fucking rollerblader,
Hell yeah.
Mm,
and him and his fucking crew are like
this crew
they're
of rollerbladers.
OGs. They didn't sell out.
Nice.
They're not sponsored or anything.
Of
And
course.
anyway, he ends up going to a team that's sponsored, and his friends fucking hate him. I tried
Yeah.
watching it again
Sells
a couple
out.
years ago, and I was like,
I'm gonna get trash. Yeah.
it's not even that it's trash. Like I'm so embarrassed watching this right now. I don't know why. I don't know why.
Oh,
Johnny
man.
Tsunami still holds up though. It's about a surfer, Johnny Capahala, and
Yeah.
his dad gets he's got to go to Colorado, whatever, for his job, so he takes
Mm.
his family. This kid's grandfather though is like that classic evil Japanese guy from all the movies like Mortal Kombat and shit.
Perfect.
But he's a really
Shang
good
Tsung. Dude,
Yeah.
there's a cleaner at my work who looks like Shang Tsung. I'm quite certain if he catches me alone in the hallway, he's gonna steal my soul. I'm like same body build, same like
Oh.
long wispy hair, long wispy stash and stuff. My soul is gonna be his if I'm not
Watch
careful.
out, Leroy. Watch out.
I have a hard time stopping myself from going and talking to people like that. Where I'm like,
Okay.
man, do you look just
Do
like
you even know?
Yeah.
You look like the worst person in that whole series.
when we were in the
I
Dominican.
know you're making minimum wage right now, but let me tell you about how you're the worst character I've ever seen.
I saw this
we
guy.
saw repeat characters in the Dominican. So many of them. So many. Yeah. Sorry.
There was one guy who showed up and I stared at him for a whole minute.
Mhm.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I know. Like he had the same beard, same
Yeah.
fucking pepper, like gray hairs in his beard. He was bald. He looked just like this guy I know named Matt. And I wanted to go up to him and be like, hey man, what's your last name? You look so familiar. But I was like, I'm just gonna ruin his fucking week because
Just
now he's gonna
stranger
every time he
changer.
sees me, he's gonna be like, there's the stalker.
There's the weirdo.
Yeah,
Wants to know
there's
my
the
last
weirdo.
name.
Whew. Anyway. Yeah,
Can you
good times.
imagine?
I can't imagine.
I was gonna ask you, and I don't know if this is a long story or short story, but Seven Wolf Retreat. I see you're
Are you-
wearing the shirt for it, but then there was mention of it on your socials. What is this about?
Okay, so the short version
Mm,
is it is a nature healing retreat for veterans. It's like that's what it's
Ah.
going to become. That's the end goal.
okay.
So it was founded by a retired member of our regiment from the Royal Canadian Dragoons,
Mhm.
Colin, you know John Greener.
Yeah.
So he founded this thing.
Okay.
He purchased a piece of property on the Quebec side, like northwest of Pembroke,
Okay.
and it was just trees. It was like a completely undeveloped, not useful property, and he's been working on it for the last several years.
Cool.
And so we get together every once in a while. There's a group of us that will go and will camp there for a weekend. And honestly, it's just an opportunity for us to be with people who understand each other.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
his vision of this, and he's been building these bunkhouses where visitors can stay in. Anyway, it's still a work in progress, but the idea is that people who are hurting, veterans who are hurting, can come and hang out with us, and be put through a program where we do a little bit of survival stuff, hanging out in the woods. It's just, let's be real. You go out in the
Team
woods
building.
and it just feels good to be out in
Mhm.
the woods,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
to be out in the woods in a calming place, and it's a very quiet spot, um, with people that understand you, who know probably what you've been through,
Mhm.
especially veterans who are hurting, you
Mhm.
know and so that's Seven Wolf Retreat. That's his plan, his vision, um, and he has done
Amazing.
incredible work of building up the place, of literally taking tractor and clearing trees and making space, and it's an awesome spot, during
Does
the
he make
spring,
you
summer,
sleep in
fall.
Arctic tents, or like is it nice?
No, so like, I mean, you can. So there are
Yeah.
several bunkhouses. So there's like two sides to the treat. There's like the staff side, so to speak, and then the visitor side that he's been really putting a lot of effort into. So there's a couple of bunkhouses that are built for the staff side. So that's where we go and we hang out.
Right.
Um, and on the other side, like literally across the road, his vision is to have these little bunkhouses. These people come and stay, and they can hang out there. So, he's still working like mad on it. He's got some helpers, helping him build it up, doing some of the work. His wife is brilliant when it comes to advertising stuff. Like, she owns a restaurant in Pembroke, so she really understands a lot of this stuff, and so she's helped him along. And now he's all over social media. He posts a lot of videos while he's out there, and he just kind of will say, "Hey, wolves," and then he'll just kind of riff, say a thing off the top of
Mhm.
his head. Um, but yeah, long-winded answer to say it is supposed to be a healing retreat, and a support center for veterans.
That's
Well, that's
awesome.
fantastic. I'm super happy that
Yeah.
that you asked that, Jenna, because I didn't think twice about the stupid shirt he was wearing. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I know John Green, not as well as probably you, Leroy, or a lot of other people, but I mean, he is truly one of the purest people you'll ever meet. He wears his heart on his
Mhm.
sleeve, and he's a
Yeah.
really awesome person.
Oh, and
That's
he's a
really cool
legend for
that
so many reasons. Like,
yeah,
he was an
yeah.
excellent soldier, excellent
Mhm.
soldier. He's just a good dude, wonderful sense of
Super
humor, and
funny. Yeah.
he's so engaging. So, um, the property is about 800 meters or so from a popular restaurant and beach spot called the Fort,
Yep.
where people on the Quebec side will go there and hang out, and then Ontario side will take their boats, kind of hit the beach. And anytime we've gone there, he will get business cards from people. He just starts talking to people, and
Nice.
he's got this bright smile and this wonderful, engaging personality. He's easily one of the most impressive people I've ever met, and I envy how good he is with people. Like,
Mhm.
I try and be good with people. I really enjoy engaging, but with the sincerity with which he approaches people is really what inspires them to want to participate in this more than anything else.
Mhm.
He is the heart and soul of this thing, and however long it lasts, he will definitely be the guy, the heart of it. Yeah.
Mhm.
That is really awesome. It looks like they're affiliated with Spartan Wellness. Is this?
So Spartan Wellness is, there's another veteran. I forget it's Riyadh, and I forget his last name. But he's a good friend of Johnny's. Anyway, that's another. I'm not really familiar with
No,
Spartan
for
Wellness,
sure. Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's another veteran run, um, kind of deal. But ultimately, it's like, I think it's another support system.
Mhm.
But I don't want to say anything. I don't want to speak outside of my lane there.
No, that's awesome. Thank you for talking. Because now this is.
Yeah.
I'll probably try to reach out to John and see if he wants to
Oh
come
my
on here and
god.
talk about that. Because that would be.
There you go.
Shit.
I mean, it's exactly why we have this fucking podcast. People need to know what's available to them,
Yeah,
and
you
I
should.
think
He'll entertain the hell out of you.
yeah,
He
yeah.
is
He's
funny. He's engaging. Like, if you're not splitting your sides laughing, then you probably weren't talking to him. You were
no,
talking
for
to
sure. Yeah.
a stand-in, a
Mhm.
clone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, that seems like a great place to cap this one off. So Leroy, thank you so much
Okay, wait,
again.
hang on.
Oh, she got more.
Leroy. No, we were gonna
Hmm?
in this being the 100th episode, we were gonna give a book away, but we were going to ask Leroy
Yeah, do you have a preference? Do you have a
what the
book that
book
you
should
want
be.
people to read, or do you want us to pick for you?
Yeah.
Um, I don't have a preference.
Okay.
When people ask me which of my books should they read, my answer is, what mood are you in?
Mm.
Okay.
And I ask them, like, do you want to feel good? Do you want to feel shocked? Do you want to be turned on? Like, what do you want?
Do you
And
have a
then I
book
kind of
that's
guide them.
got
Hall of
all like the
Famer.
works?
No, I initially, Colin, you were talking about Eternus, and I would say let's go with Eternus because it's the
Okay.
book that I put the most
The
effort
most.
into.
Okay.
That's perfect.
The concept of the story I came up with like 10 years ago, and I had reworked it multiple times until this iteration of it. And I'm glad I wrote it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you wrote it
And
too.
we're excited to share it with.
I've been enjoying.
That's
the
so
heck
very
out of it.
kind of you guys. I really appreciate the support. I appreciate you guys inviting me again. You're gonna regret it for sure, and it'll be another 3-4 years before you forget
Yeah, right.
and
I
invite
know
me
it's
back another time.
You know, it's been so long since we had you on last that our
Mhm.
whole process for recording had changed. We weren't using computer-based software. We're on the internet now. So, well, maybe
Yeah.
it'll be all done by AI, or hopefully one day I'd love to have an in-person studio, but I don't know that the world's going that direction. It's
Oh
tricky,
gosh.
but yeah, thank you
I
again
think the
so
good
much.
stuff is still in person.
I think so too. We got to figure that out, but we don't live close enough together yet. I gotta move. You gotta move. I don't know.
You need to be like
It's a
Joe
it's a
Rogan
long-
status,
it's a
like people
long-
willing to travel to get on your
Yeah,
podcast.
Yeah, I'll fly you out. Like there's podcasts that do that. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Hold the
but
phone. I'm gonna
that
book the flight. You're paying for it.
happens. Yeah, gotta spare hundreds
So-
of dollars. Yeah.
For everyone who's listening, Jenna, I'm gonna ask you to do the giveaway stuff because I don't know how to do it.
I will organize. Yeah. I've done this before, so yeah.
We'll
I
go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. I was just gonna say, like, we'll have a I don't want to say entry form, but like you'll be entering on our favorite place, social media.
The best.
And that way, yeah, we'll get
gonna be
get
huge.
names, and then we'll contact whoever we pick. Will be good.
When are we gonna? It'll probably be in 2 episodes from now. That'll give us time to, because it will publish it this week, and then by the time we
It'll give
record,
people time to enter.
we'll know
Yes.
exactly, and then we'll be able to announce. So, look forward to that. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Anything that gives more visibility to the podcast will get you an entry into the giveaway. And honestly, to everyone, not just Leroy, but everyone who does come and listen and watch the show, we really appreciate it. One day we will be Joe Rogan, and people will flock
Absolutely.
to us.
Absolutely.
And
I believe it.
Think those
I
positive
appreciate
people.
that. Thank you so much.
I'll be on your 1,000th episode.
Yes. Okay. I'm writing
fuck
this
yeah.
down.
We're gonna
Paper trail.
manifest that, and it'll be not in 5 years. It'll be like way quick. No, it'll take forever.
There you go.
Leroy,
1,000,
tell us,
wow.
people, tell people where you're at, how to get a hold of you.
Yes.
Where I'm at, I'm on Facebook, Instagram. Just look up Leroy Akiki or Leroy the Dreamer. That's my Instagram handle.
Mm-hmm.
Find me there. Shoot me a message. Whether you want to throw some hate or some positive words at me, I'm game for either, and I'm ready for both. For anyone who's having a hard day, you can reach out to me anytime and just say, hey, I'm having a shit time, and we can talk about it. Or if you want to ask about my writing, or if you want to learn how to just get started in the writing world, cool. Or if you want to know how to make poutine at home, I got you.
There you go.
That's what we're going to talk about the next time you're on, because I was there the first time you tried to make poutine. And,
It was a disaster. I have a commercial fry cutter now.
Oh no shit, eh?
Yeah,
Oh,
oh,
it's
it's
so funny.
beautiful. You throw
I
a potato
will-
in there, boom.
I'll
Perfect
tell
fries.
everyone Leroy made homemade cheese, and
Oh,
that
yeah, that's right. That's
shockingly, that was the best part of it all,
Ooh.
which was
That's right.
incredible. So, but we'll leave the people wanting more. And once again, Leroy, thank you so much. Really, really happy to have this conversation. I honestly, it's reinvigorated my desire to keep going with the show and have other people on. It's just been
Yes.
really easy to not look for guests and not ask people to come onto the show.
And
But-
Thank you so
Colin and I
much.
just
Thank you
shoot
so
the
much
shit,
for having me. It's really
Yeah.
nice to talk to you both again. Colin, I get to chat with you regularly. Jenna, the last time we had a conversation was the last time I was on this show.
2 years ago. I know it's too long.
But it's nice to know
Yeah.
that you still have this intelligent heart about you. She really, Colin's like a shotgun and she is that like laser, right? Let's be
Yeah,
real. Colin's
yeah,
a
no.
shotgun
Fair,
and
fair,
she's the one, the pink mist shot
Yeah,
that
yeah.
fair.
She
with
makes
the
it count.
targeted questions,
Mm.
So thank you so much for having me on. I
That's
really had
awesome.
a good time.
We thank you so much. Yeah, I feel like it's just like a circle of gratitude. Yeah.
Oh, Colin, I saw that smile.
Yeah, you know. Okay, I will say goodbye. I gotta
I'm
wait
gonna
for
say
Jenna.
Good night.
Yeah,
Thank
Okay.
you.
you gotta say it, Jenna, so I can press stop.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I forgot. Toodles.
Toodles. Fuck, that was so funny.
So good.
Oh, he fucking left.
Ah, damn.